Hi, and welcome back to another episode of the My Best Self podcast, where we become the best version of ourselves. Today, I'm going to share with you one of my passions, which is reading. And I'm going to share with you books that have changed my life. To be honest, a book can really change your life. Reading the right books can do so much for you. And so I'm so excited to share my picks. And if you're watching this video, you probably already enjoy reading. If you don't and you're barely starting to get into reading, I just want to say I know reading has made me more intelligent. I know reading has expanded my vocabulary. So yeah, I'm happy for you if you're watching this video. Also, my hair is going through it right now. Don't mind it. It's not styled, so we're just gonna ignore that today. Anyways, let's get into the books that have literally changed my life. The first book, I actually don't have it with me today, and I've talked about this book before, but I just have to have it as the honorable first mention. This book, literally, this is my favorite book because it genuinely changed my life. Like our last episode was about how to brainwash yourself. This book was part of that process for me. The book is The Magic by Rhonda Byrne, and it is such an amazing book. If you're looking to start getting into practicing gratitude, it includes like activities and challenges in there that you can do and practice, can help you start implementing gratitude into your life. And I swear to you, it is magical because my life became so magical after I read that book. So I don't know, but I love that book, so had to be number one. But getting into the second book, and this one, I think this one is very popular already, and you probably have heard of it. If you're into books, you might have heard of it already, but it is The Four Agreements by Don Miguel Ruiz. So this is a personal growth book, such a great book too. It just gives you a different perspective on life, and it's based on ancient I don't want to butcher this word, Toltec wisdom. It teaches you the four agreements: be impeccable with your word, don't take anything personally, don't make assumptions, and always do your best. These are the four agreements, and obviously it goes deeply into them. And it talks about how practicing these agreements can help you let go of limiting beliefs and how it can improve your life in general and stop so much suffering that we sometimes self-inflict without even realizing. If you're on a self-improvement, personal growth journey, I definitely think this is a great book for you. Also, I think this book is great for improving your relationship with other people and improving your relationship with yourself. So if you're interested in that, I definitely recommend it. And it is such an easy read. I read it years ago, but it taught me a lot, and to this day I implement these things in my daily life. Next, we have The Alchemist by Paulo Coelho. I hope I'm saying that right. And this is I love this book. This is different because it's one of those books that is like a fiction story, but it has such a deeper meaning than just what meets the eye, right? So it's like a good and interesting book that's like fun to read, but it teaches you a lot behind everything you're reading. Basically teaches you about enjoying the journey to where you need to be. The main character in this book, Santiago, he goes on a journey to find gold that's hidden in the Egyptian pyramids, and it tells his story. And there's just so many little nuggets of information and little lessons that you could learn throughout. You're the type of person that you want to go out and chase your dreams. I definitely think this is a good book because it's about his story, basically chasing his dreams, and he learns a lot along the way, and he learns how important the journey is. And I'm not going to spoil everything for you, right? But you guys will have to read it if you want to find out more. But something I love is it talks about omens, and omens are basically signs. So signs that you see throughout your life or throughout your day or whatever it may be. I mean, I don't think you're going to see one every single day, right? But basically signs that are predictions of future situations and future outcomes. Before this book, I never really heard about omens before. Nowadays, sometimes I just like am more curious about that stuff. Like for example, I've been seeing rainbows everywhere. So I now lately have been thinking of a rainbow as an omen, and like it's there to maybe symbolize something greater than just being a rainbow. But yeah, overall the story and everything is great. It's fun to read because like I said, it's a story. Okay, the next book. This one I actually did not read. I listened to it as an audiobook, but this book is, if you want to change your life, this is one of the main books that I'm going to tell you to read. If you're ready to see life in a different way, this book is just full of, for me, it's wisdom. Some people may think of it and think it's very like kind of metaphysical, but for me, the way that I see this book and the point of view that this book shares to me is more so just life wisdom. So the book is The Game of Life and How to Play It. I don't know the author, one second. It's by Florence, Scovel, Shinn. I hope that I'm not mispronouncing that. This is a type of book that gives you hope. For me, it gave me hope in life in general. It basically talks about spiritual laws, and it's the idea that life is a game and it's governed by these laws. For example, the power of your word, the power of faith, gives you basically like a cheat code to the world and to life. If you read it, you'll understand exactly what I mean. While I listened, it really did just click for me personally, and that's why I'm sharing it. Something that I'll never forget that I always like quote now, and I may not be quoting it word for word, but fear is faith in the bad. And I literally live by this now, and it helps me to be more calm in situations that maybe I'm not sure what's gonna happen next, or I have an opportunity to be fearful in. It helps me to not step into that mentality and instead step into the mentality of I have faith in good, and I have faith that things will work out, and I have faith in God, and I have faith that things are going to work out for me. That's one of the takeaways that I loved from that book. The next book, this is a literally tiny book. It's called This Is Water by David Foster Wallace. And then in the title it says, This is Water, Some Thoughts Delivered on a Significant Occasion About Living a Compassionate Life. And it's literally just that. And let me show you, if you're watching on YouTube. If you're not, if you're just listening, I'm sorry you can't see this, but it's literally a tiny book, and each page only has like a small amount of words in it. Like there's a lot of blank space in each space. It helps you put into perspective. Obviously, we're all human beings, and you're only living your life through your own eyes, right? And sometimes we can be a little bit selfish, and we can act as if we're the only person existing, right? We like sometimes forget, like, wait, that person, you don't know what that person is going through. And so this is a good book to kind of put yourself in other people's shoes. Something that I remember from the book is it talking about like when you're in traffic, you don't know if the person that just cut you off, like maybe somebody in that car is sick and they're trying to get to the hospital. It just puts things into a deeper perspective for you. Definitely helped me to be more patient. I used to kind of have like a little bit of road rage. And so I would just get like upset and stuff. And nowadays I'm more calm because I can put myself in other people's shoes, and I can say, I don't know what they're going through. Like, and I don't know what the chances are. Like maybe they just did cut me off, but you know what? Whatever. What if they're running super late and they really have to be somewhere and like their life is depending on being there? You know, I don't know. I don't know what they're going through. I don't know what anyone is feeling or going through when they're navigating through life. And this book really puts it into perspective for you. I'm gonna switch it up for a second. Why Men Love Bitches by Sherry Argov. I hope I read it. I hope I'm saying that right. Every author, I'm like, am I saying this right? Anyways, so I'm not gonna say this book changed my life, because when I was reading this, I realized that a lot of these things I do naturally. And it's not, the title I think sometimes gets a little bit of a bad rep, and it's not really saying men love bitches, B words, but it's more so saying men love women who have boundaries, standards, and who ultimately choose themselves. Basically teaches you how to prioritize yourself and prioritize your happiness in relationships and in dating. A lot of women, unfortunately, are in this kind of like nice girl kind of things where they want to be picked by men. So they start to prioritize the man and his happiness. And it's not to say that you shouldn't be a good partner. It's not to say that you shouldn't want your partner to be happy. But the thing that this book teaches really well is how to put yourself first. And I'll read you the back to see if you need to read this book. It says, do you feel like you are too nice? This book delivers a unique perspective as to why men are attracted to a strong woman who stands up for herself. With saucy detail on every page, this no-nonsense guide reveals why a strong woman is much more desirable than a yes woman who sacrifices herself. The author explains the following. Why are men romantic at first and then change? Why do men take nice girls for granted? Why does a man respect a woman when she stands up for herself? I think it's honestly great advice for every woman, especially women, like I said, who need it and who identify with being too nice, and maybe you have like people pleasing tendencies in relationships too, I think this is a great book for you. Now we're gonna get into something a little bit deeper with this next book. My therapist recommended me this book actually, and this book is called Adult Children of Emotionally Immature Parents: How to Heal from Distant, Rejecting, or Self-Involved Parents. And if you can relate to that title at all, I think that you should read this book. It can be a little bit hard because it does make you face those traumas and all of these things head on. But honestly, I loved reading this and it made me feel very validated. And it shares a lot of different stories from the clinical psychologist. So she shares patient stories and what they had to deal with in their childhood, and then talks about how to heal from it. So if you're in your healing era, this is a really, really good book for that. Like, girl, my therapist is the one who put me on, so she would know. Okay, and the last book I'm gonna share with you today is Atomic Habits: Tiny Changes, Remarkable Results. That is very true. If you are looking for some extra motivation in life, this book motivated me because I realized that if I wasn't getting better, I was getting worse. And it teaches you how to build really great habits. It teaches the importance of good habits and how all these little things that we do in our life make such a big difference. If you're ready to take more control of your life, I recommend this book. It teaches you different strategies, different ways to build habits. And it also helps with breaking bad habits. If that's something that you're into, read this book. So that is going to be all for today, guys. I know this was a little bit short, but I hope you enjoyed it. These are really some of my top favorite books that I've read that have just made a big impact in my life. Let me know if you guys have read any of the books. I want to hear your thoughts on them. If you haven't yet and you're planning to, let me know which ones caught your interest. I would love to know and to hear from you all which ones you liked and what you thought and everything. Also, I think I'm gonna add them all into an Amazon storefront. So if you're planning on buying any, if you guys want to support me, I probably will get like less than $1 from every seller. I don't know what the commission is, to be honest, but I'll have that in the description if you guys want. Also write out like the list of the books so that you guys can check them out. And yeah, thank you guys so much for listening. I appreciate you so much. I hope you enjoyed this episode, and I will see you in next week's episode at 10 a.m. PST.